Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. And before Sam comes on, just want to let you know, if you are an entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur and you want to be free from the man, if you want to have a successful business, if you want to learn how to really impact the people that you desire to impact, definitely visit employeeescapeplan.com. Mr. Joe Nicasio has been my coach. He's an advisor to me. He's coached Les Brown on marketing. Amazing dude, and I highly recommend you go check him out, employeeescapeplan.com, and he will definitely put you in the right direction, accelerate your business, help you get more customers, pay you more money more often. Tell Joe Chris sent you if you decide to check him out. Now, the man of the hour. Sam Shelley is the founder of Head Trash Anonymous, an author and a self-realized spiritual teacher. His mission in life is to help others out of their head trash, the mental garbage that is creating overwhelm, unworthiness, and stress. Sam, you ready to rock this? Yes,
ready.
he is. Awesome. You are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self, and we are going to have a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming back, man. We've had you on before. Every single time I can think of that, it's just like freedom, peace, your story, your journey, who you are is just all about empowering people, man. So thank you for coming back on, dedicating a portion of your life force to make a difference in our audience's lives, man.
All right, Chris, always good to see you. Always fun.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning, baby, just the beginning. So before we dive into your journey, for everyone who doesn't know who you are yet, let's start off with our theme for the day. And the question is, who are you really? And when you think about that question, who are you, Sam, what's your response if someone asks you, who are you? What do you say to them?
I'm a perfect spirit, just like you're a perfect spirit.
Ooh, going deep. I love it. I love it. I love it. Cool. So everyone listening out there, did you hear the certainty with which Sam replied? Did you hear the inclusiveness with which he shared who I am, which is, in reality, we're all connected, right? We're all a part of the same source, the same God, the same spirit, whatever it might be. And everyone has their own unique way of answering that question. And what I wanted you to really pay attention to, those listening, is how do people answer that question? What's the perspective? What's the lens that they're looking at life through? And Sam, it's so clear and obvious that how you're looking at life is you're healed. People are healed. People are perfect exactly the way that they are. And we're all connected. And I think that's so beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple. This nonsense up here makes it so difficult.
Wow. So we're going to dive into the head trash today and how to get rid of it and what that means. Before we get there, why don't you share about your incredible journey of healing and getting rid of your own head trash that's had you be the person who you are today, man?
Yeah, just really, really briefly, because it can go on for hours about my own traumas through life. But the big thing for me that really made a huge difference in my life, at age 37, I lost the ability to walk from multiple sclerosis. So I was on disability for about 6 months. Then I eventually was determined enough to at least live a normal life and got myself off disability and used the quad cane, took a lot of medicine. But it's really been a life of a lot of pain and suffering, which began at age 6 when a van ran over me, causing head trauma, broken elbow, broken hip. Then it all said I had 5 incurable diseases, 13 medications a day, about 22 pills, needed a cooling vest, cane, just a very difficult, trying life. But then one day I simply found meditation. But the way I found meditation was after an experience I just couldn't explain, but I was curious, like what happened that I found meditation. Before, meditation turned me off because I had that image of like monks sitting in a certain lotus position, holding their hands a certain way, breathing a certain way.
Boring, hard, difficult.
Right. All this stuff. And I was like, that was really, it turns off a lot of people too. When they see this traditional meditation image, it turns them off. My bipolar OCD brain was like, that was not for me. If you told me all those rules that had to sit a certain way, breathe a certain way, hold my hands a certain way, sit up a certain way, it was not for me. So when I found my meditation practice, it was simply 5 minutes a day, just sitting there, disconnecting from the world. No way to particularly sit, breathe, posture, hands, none of that. I just sat there for 5 minutes a day. So when I first began, it was very difficult because typically when we think meditation, it's like, oh, you're supposed to stop thinking. No, That's a misnomer. You never stop thinking. This mind's constantly going. If it's not going, you're probably dead. So this mind's constantly going. We have to realize, do we react or respond to this nonsense or not? So that's what I saw for the first 2 weeks. It was really difficult because I just had all these. It was just my mind was just really, really going. I think it was like the mind was supposed to stop thinking. So we like stop thinking, stop thinking. Then it was like, then I realized, wait a second, that's a thought chasing a thought.
Wow.
So it was like, oh, okay. So now I just got to. So when my mind goes, come back to this moment. Mind goes, come back to this moment. So I'd be like, where's my breath? Where are my feet? And that was it for me. It was just that very simple practice. And by 3 months, I was up to about 15 minutes twice a day for my practice. My mind was getting pretty quiet at that point. Then one evening, I simply heard a voice say, perfect spirit. I'm like, that's it. My spirit is perfect. It's simply the body that's damaged. Then I simply had a deep, deep knowing that all was well and all sense of fear of my health was simply gone. Then there's something really interesting happening when you stop believing this nonsense, then your intuitive voice comes online. So actually they call that a heart awakening. When I talked to Ayashante a couple of weeks ago, it's that heart awakening that I had. And that's what I try to tell people today is that I was never on my quest to heal. That was never my intention, was to heal. My intention was inner peace. Because I was this bipolar OCD, really overwhelmed with life. I was completely overwhelmed with life. Always waking up each morning like, what else is going to go wrong? What else is going to go wrong? Oh, I still have this. I still have this. And just this constant chatter that I was constantly recycling my head trash, just constantly recycling it. So it was just a matter of like, okay, so what happens when this goes quiet, your intuitive voice comes up. And this is what I help people today is I'm not a healer. What I help people do is quiet this so they can hear their own intuitive voice. And I tell people, you live in your body. You know it the best. Others are just guessing what's best for you. Your mind is guessing what's best for you. What really knows best is right here, your own inner voice. So your best guru, your best healer, your best financial advisor, like you're it. And it's just, but this is getting in the way. Wow. So quieting this so people can just dive into this and hear this voice. It might not be a voice. It may come in images, symbols. It comes in different ways for different people. Because there's 7.5 billion people. There's never a cookie cutter approach. It's everyone's unique way. And Chris experienced this when I had a session with him, just so he can experience what I do. And what I do is it's unique. I channel for each person. I don't think anyone else does that out there. When I do a meditation with somebody, it's completely channeled for them. Like what there's this intuition trying to tell them that they can't hear.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I just got to this deep place of surrender and peace. I'm like, oh, this is gold. And then you sent me the recording after. I was like, sweet. Like I can listen to this again and again and get back to this place of peace whenever I want.
Yeah, it's just really simple. From peace, everything becomes possible. Because without that peace, without knowing who we truly are, then it's not possible. So once you realize that I am this perfect spirit, that I am this spirit having this human experience, then life is a lot easier. You just realize how this is making this so complicated and so difficult. And all you need to do is step back, try to relax as best you can, and just ask yourself, well, how do I move forward? And just that one step, then the one step, then the one step. The mind wants to know these quantum leaps, but it's one step at a time. And the mind likes to know the final outcome. When you're in this space, you don't know the final outcome. You're just taking one step after another step. And you just realize what they say in the Bhagavad Gita is you concentrate on your task, your labor, not the fruits of your labor. You just concentrate on your work and not worry about the outcome. So the outcome will take care of itself. If you're doing your very best in that moment, the outcome will take care of itself. It's probably better than you imagine because you're not fixed on that certain outcome. You open yourself up to these unlimited possibilities.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. So it's like falling in love with the process. And not only do we see this in life, right? We can see that if I fall in love with the process, the daily actions, the habits, doing my work the way it's meant to be done, the right way, the empowering way, the way that's best for everyone, giving my best, but also in terms of being peaceful, meditating, doing the best that we can in the meditation, not judging ourselves, not making it wrong that we're not, somewhere else in our business or our life or our health or our wealth, relationships, not making it wrong that we're not somewhere else at this place of, floating on air, Zen monk master kind of status. Like, it's okay. Like, fall in love with the process of exactly where we are. Be unattached, be let go, surrender, and just be peace.
Right. And just that. And if you're facing like anger, frustration, then you stop back and say, where's this anger coming from? And you'll see it's coming from this story that things need to be different than they are. And you just realize, I can't change this moment right now. If I'm a little angry, what's the next step I can do to make it a better situation? Just whatever you're facing is the way.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is just like, because usually when we feel something, feelings are felt thoughts. So when you're feeling frustration, anger, sadness, you're just feeling those thoughts. So if you can go back and just really see what's the story behind those thoughts, you can begin to unwind that.
So how do we do that?
Well, it's really simple. There's a real simple way. It's just what I did, that 5 minutes. For some people, it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. There are no rules. That's why I try to emphasize with people. There are no rules. Your way is your way. Whatever works for you, works for you. If it doesn't work, then stop doing that and listen to yourself in a different way. And that's why I see people get locked into routines, rituals, and it's not serving them. They need to change their process some way.
How do we know? How do we know when we need to change?
When you're unsatisfied with life. When you're unsatisfied with life, that tells you that something needs to change here. Like, I don't feel happy. I don't feel empowered, because you should be smiling. You should be laughing. You should be having fun. If you're not in that space, then there's a story blocking that. This head trash is blocking it in some way. So what I really recommend to people is just disconnect, turn off everything, and just sit there. And for some people, they just can't sit there. They'll fall asleep. So I tell them, sit on the edge of your chair. So the sensation of falling over will snap you back. So it's just sitting there. So when you see the mind telling a story, you just say, okay, there goes the mind. Come back to this moment. Where's my breath? Where are my feet? Where are my hands touching? And just constantly bring it back, and you're building your mental cognitive skills. Just that one rep. Like, if you go to the gym every day and do 1 or 2 reps, over a month, you're going to get stronger. You're not going to get strong that one day, but over a month, you'll get stronger. Same thing. Keep bringing your mind back. So life becomes a walking meditation. It's like, oh, I'm feeling a little angry. And you stop. Okay, what's going on? And you come back. This is what I did for somebody that was having a panic attack on the subway. She was going to a doctor's, and I was like, okay, she's panic attack. I mean, she's guessing the future, like what's going to happen to the doctor, and she's just trying to guess what's going to happen. So what I had her do in the subway was grab the metal bar. Then I asked her a question about the metal bar. And it just brought her back into this moment. Is it hot, cold? Is it rough, smooth? And just, but it's not saying I'm bringing you back to the moment. I just asked her questions about this moment. Like, what do you see now? Where are your feet? And just getting her out of that story. And within 30 seconds, she was no longer in a panic attack.
Wow. That's incredible.
It's very, very simple. And the mind likes complexity. And it's really not that way. It's very, very simple. And that's why I see that, people just overcomplicate things.
So what's a way that we can keep getting back to it? What's a way to reinforce the habit, the new discipline? Because I know a lot of people fall off track and they make themselves wrong, and they're guilty and ashamed for not doing it every single day for 3 hours straight, and like having ridiculous expectations of themselves.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So
that's exactly it. But it's just about that place of forgiveness, of just accepting yourself for where you are right now. No one comes into this moment, like a Zen master immediately, because it's not that way. If you can only notice yourself once a day, oh, I'm getting angry, and you're able to stop yourself that one time and look back, you made progress. Even if you do that once in a day, and you're just that self-aware, because the easiest things for the mind to do is to react and to respond. To initiate is a new action is the hardest thing for the mind to do, is to initiate. So if you can just initiate stopping that reaction to something and have that awareness, you just did your one mental rep. If that's all you did in a day, that's perfect. That's your practice. Maybe the next day you'll do it twice. And if some days you might miss it, it's okay. You don't judge yourself, but you just keep coming back self-aware. Self-aware. It's all it is. It's very, very simple just to be self-aware and to realize, it's just a mental story. You have these thoughts, but you are not these thoughts. You're not this label, this identity, because you are this perfect spirit. Like Chris, perfect spirit, I'm a perfect spirit. Whoever's watching is a perfect spirit. Even your neighbor down the street that you don't like, he too is a perfect spirit. Everyone is that. Once you realize that we're all connected, it's just the mind telling stories. They should be acting this way. They should be behaving this way. But 90% of the people are lost in this. Maybe 95% of the people, it's probably a lot higher than that. They just get lost in this because that's the way it's just, we're constantly in a state of lack. That something is not good enough.
So what's the vision with this when people are able to do this? Because the state of how things are right now is it's not happening, right? People aren't meditating. They're not clear of the head trash. Gandhi had a vision of seeing that part of the world united, right? Seeing India united. So how do you see that this piece, this meditation will really make a difference for people? What does that look like? What's the timeline on that? And I'm not trying to put it in a box, but just kind of planting energetic seeds of what could be.
Right, because if we want world peace, it's everyone finding their own peace within them. And this is where humanity will wake up eventually. Because people will see that. I always heard these stories like people are becoming more and more awake, but then we get somebody like Trump elected in office. But he too is a perfect spirit, but he's just really trapped up here, and he's a master at sales, and he knows how to sell people by building that fear, that lack, and people cling to that. So he was that expression for people wanted this to give validity to their fears. He gave validity to their fears, which salespeople do. They're a master of that. That's the way they get you to buy their product. That you need me to get rid of this, or you need me to get rid of this problem. So that's the way it works. And there's probably some good ideas he can come up with if he can just learn to relax and really tune to his own perfect spirit. Then he could be a great president. But if he continues to get lost up in here, then that's just it. But he too is a perfect spirit.
When's he going to learn to meditate?
I don't know. That's his journey. That's his. There's 7.5 people in the world. That's his own journey.
Yeah.
This is where for his perfect spirit to learn, to grow, and expand. And he may not expand in this lifetime. Yeah. Because we all have our own personal journey. But it's all just realize that, it all begins with us. It just begins with us. To see what's going on out there and having that self-awareness of being happy, feeling good right now. If people are not feeling good right now, then this is going. This is telling stories, this craziness. And we just have to let go of this craziness and then take those inspired steps, that action to get that clarity.
Wow. So if head trash and dealing with it is so simple, what do we need to know to make it happen? How can we have everyone who's watching this interview right now completely change the rest of their life right now in this moment by making a commitment, by making a decision, by, seeing something, by taking a new action, by writing something on their wall? What would it take for these people to really just transform everything?
A little bit of determination, a little bit of vigilance against the mind, because the mind loves distractions. My mantra when I began was, I deserve 5 minutes to myself. That was my mantra. I deserve 5 minutes to myself. Because this to-do list is telling you don't have any time. You got to do this, this, and that. But it's all about that discipline. I'm going to take 2 minutes to myself to just let go, turn off everything, and just sit there. I'm going to take 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be very, very long. Even, 1 minute a day. Like I said, if you're just doing one, come back to awareness once a day, then twice, then 3 times, and you just keep coming back. And your mind will get stronger and stronger, and you'll get this peace. You won't be so controlled by this. This mind drags us around, just constantly dragging us around. That's why we react and we respond, because this is just dragging us around. We become a slave to our mind instead of using our mind as a tool. to solve these life challenges. And to really, what I'm seeing with the mind's really there is it's a tool for discernment. Is this really the best course of action for me? Because we all know that we have to eat our fruits and vegetables. We know that. But this mind is telling you instant gratification, instant gratification. But if we just listen to what this is telling us, like, hey, don't eat that chocolate cake if you want to lose 50 pounds. You know, it's telling you exactly your weight loss plan. But you're ignoring that because this mind, and we're really trapped into the thought addiction. That's what really Head Trash Anonymous is recovery and healing from thought addiction. That was my intention with the Anonymous is, what do you think of like alcohol addiction, drug addiction? But no one's dealing with thought addiction. That's really the problem out there is thought addiction. Because we don't know peace if we're totally wrapped up in this. Then there's all this violence, all this hate in the world because it's just one belief system versus another belief system. But ultimately, we're all perfect spirits trying to do our best, but we're caught up in this thought addiction. Wow. So that's one of my big visions is have thought Head Trash Anonymous groups around the world where it's one another helping each other let go of the stress of the day. Like this happened at work, and just helping each other deal with this. Like, what did you do to get yourself back into this moment? Like have like different skills. So people would have like maybe like a handbook, you know, like here's the top 100 tips to get back into this moment or something just to get back here. Because anything can be used to get out of the mind. I took somebody that liked football watching and used that to question his thoughts, his opinion about the game. Like what makes you that true? Like a football player was hurt. And I'm like, well, what's that player feeling? What's his coach feeling? What's the head coach feeling? Like all these different perspectives. Who's telling the truth? None of them, because they're all caught up in this. So that's like opinions are subjective.
Right.
So get them to see that. Then you start to detach a little bit from your opinions and your belief systems.
You know, Sam, before we go any further, I really acknowledge you for coming up and showing up as the presence who you are now. Just since you've last been on this show, you've grown so much, man, and your confidence, your certainty, your ability to articulate yourself is so much more present and grounded, man. Whatever work you're doing, I'm guessing meditating, amongst other things, it's working, man. So I really acknowledge you for growing a lot, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. You know, recently in October, I was at the SAND conference in California, Science and Non-Duality. So I got to hang out with Deepak Chopra, Aya Shante, JP Sears, all these. And Deepak's on my shirt that I was wearing, letting go of the head trash creates a space for transformation. He's like, yeah, that's true. That's exactly how we transform ourselves. Wow. Is by letting go of the head trash. It creates the space for transformation. Because you're not going to transform yourself with just using this. Because this tells you the real way to transformation, whether it's self-confidence, new job, new relationship, wealth, income is right in here. Because this is your GPS, your own inner GPS. This is it. So if you have this quiet, you can hear this. Then you're unstoppable. You have infinite potential in that space. You have limitations up here.
Wow. So what do you see as your next biggest hurdle to getting this message out and having more people discover about it and live this message?
Yeah, my own challenge, like everyone, it's like this, you know, this, even though I still do this meditation, this still gets in the way. I mean, because we're never done. There's some people that have a spiritual practice will say, I'm done. And you're never done because this is always creating challenges. It's just part of what the brain does, because this will tell you very clearly what to do. This comes first, then this comes second. And this voice is always creating doubts, confusion, muddying the waters. And what I wrote today was really good, you know, trying to stop sorting out from the mind and try to listen to here. But this mind, it's just a habit, and it's still like I'm getting deeper and deeper, but there's still once in a while this comes up because it's like human experience can be difficult. It can be challenging.
Yeah. What does deeper and deeper look like for you?
It's just deeper and deeper is just the confidence increases, the self-assurance increases because of this. You're just not reacting, responding to this. So deeper and deeper is just really, really diving deeper to really hear what that voice is trying to tell you. Like, go do this, go do this. And it makes no logical sense sometimes. It could be like, you have this voice like, go to this store, and it's like an hour away. And your mind will be like, well, there's 5 other stores that are closer of that brand. So why do I need to go an hour away? Because your intuition say, maybe you're going to run into an old friend there. Maybe they have a product at this store that they don't have at these other 5. There's something there at that store that wants you to go there. And who knows what the reason is. It's just like, you just have to step into this mystery. Let's take that one step. All right, I just feel like I need to go this way. I mean, I was driving home recently, and it was like, don't go that way, go this other way. And other way took me a half hour longer to get home. I have no idea. The trip was uneventful, but I had no idea if I went that way, would I have been in an accident? Would I get a flat tire? Who knows? I was just told, go that way. So I did. It just took half hour. Nothing eventful happened. And I just figured it was just perfect, because if I went the other way, something could have happened.
Wow. Incredible, man. So what kind of people do you surround yourself with to keep developing yourself and get this message out of Head Trash Anonymous, build the vision, keep going deeper and deeper into your spiritual practice?
Yeah, just really just making that time for myself, the giving our self-care time that, like there's a Zen saying that's kind of true that's out there, but I don't recommend this for everyone. Meditate for 20 minutes a day. When the mind tells you you're too busy, meditate for an hour.
Right.
But that's the thing is, for most people, an hour is entirely too long. Even 20 minutes is too long for people. Because what I tell people, if you're in this head trash and you can't bring your awareness back, you're making this story stronger. So if you have a 5-minute practice and you can't come back, get up, do something else. You don't want to strengthen this story. If you're just sitting there quietly, giving this story a chance to churn and really ingrain, you're better off just getting up and walking.
Wow. It's interesting. Never heard that perspective before. That's good.
Yeah, it's just stuff I'm discovering. It's like, because there's some teachers out there that will say, meditate for 20 minutes a day, meditate for an hour a day to a beginner. And like, no, don't do that. This keeps the story stronger. Don't do that. Yeah. It's like they're trying to do that cookie cutter approach. There's no cookie cutter approach for everyone. And that's what I really try to teach people. There's no cookie cutter approach. Whatever works for you is your path, as long as it's working for you. If you're dealing with stress, if you're racing thoughts at night, and then you're not living you should be happy. You should be happy, smiling, being joyful, and just really slowing down and noticing what's around you. Most people just rush to see the end goal, but they miss all the stuff that in between. And in between those little steps could be your intuition saying, look at this image over here. Hear this music that's playing in the background. All these messages could be around you, but you're got your blinders on for this end goal and you don't see. Because the intuition works really interesting for people that can't quite this. It will come in different ways, maybe a song, maybe a dream. But if you're not slowing down to notice, then the intuition is going to keep trying to reach you. But if you keep having your blinders on, you're not going to hear that wisdom.
No. That's awesome. What other perspectives have opened up for you, to you, since starting your journey?
Yeah, the other thing that it's really coming to me since starting my journey is just really diving into who I am and just what I'm really noticing that's kind of interesting. I was just really reflecting on this today and I see this too with some like big spiritual teachers too, with like Eckhart Tolle. He's a good example I was thinking of today. He has a team of assistants around him because he normally can't function properly because his mind is so offline. Wow. It's just hard for him. And I'm starting to see that in myself too as I go deeper, that this really gets offline and you need this to take action on this. So that's one of the things I see as I go deeper into this deeper wisdom. It's hard sometimes to figure, okay, I'm hearing this wisdom. How do I execute this? Yeah. Because it's even like the big joke is like my phone once in a while, I'll look at my phone and like, how do I work this? It just gets really confusing sometimes when I'm in that space.
Wow. See, that's incredible. What other lessons have you learned from spiritual teachers? Is there anything else that's really stood out for you? I know you said you went to the SAND conference. Anything else?
Yeah, SAND was good. And what I really noticed at SAND is people like their concepts. I even see some teachers that really like their concepts. They like their stories. And I'm always trying to unwind the stories, but I see some people are really caught up in their stories, their identity. Everyone has them, and it's really this unwinding. Yeah. And some people just, there's a book out there that's coming like halfway down the mountain that they have to come back down to talk to people, because up in this space it's a little difficult to operate and function. That's what I'm finding. Yeah. So that's what I'm just trying to figure out. How do I live in this space and yet function as a human?
How do you? What's the access to connecting them at the same time, to like having 100% of both? Is it just like practice and building those neural connections of flow and trust, and having your body and brain and mind go automatically with your heart?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do. Is like the intuition will come, and you just have to trust that and just take action on that. And sometimes the intuition doesn't come right away. It just has to germinate a while. Maybe you have a big problem, like, how do I do this? Yeah. And it might take a little while for it to come, but it will come eventually. But in the meantime, it's like, okay, now what? You just sort of sit around, and this is why some few teachers just sit around, and that's all they do is sit around. Wow. Because there's nothing really to do, because I heard that voice say perfect spirit, and that deep knowing that all is well. Regardless of this opinion, all is well. But we still have to take care of this body, because it's here for our human experience. Beautiful. That's what I'm really seeing today. It's here for my human experience. And how can I really help someone today? And this is what I do at my head trash clearing sessions, is it's recorded for them so they can learn specifically how to get out of their mind for them so they can grow. So part of what I need to do, my better myself, is listen back to some of those meditations that may help me. Yeah. Because trying to live with this going sometimes is a little challenging and difficult, but it's just part of the fun, part of the adventure of being a human, that we're never quite done.
Yeah, I do want to say, after this 12-hour marathon, I know I'm like full, right? My brain is full of conversations of what I should be doing next, all these expectations, and exhaustion, right? 12 hours straight is pretty tough. What I'm going to be doing after this marathon is using your recording, your 30-minute recording, because who I am in my life shows up in this 12-hour marathon. I created this 12-hour marathon, and it's like a microcosm of who I am in everywhere of my life. I go above and beyond. I push myself to the limits. I'm a fiery, energetic, charge forward guy, and always having to get somewhere. And Sam and I had our session over the weekend. It's like, there's nowhere to get to, dude. And so who I've been all day long is let's get to the next gold nugget. Let's get to the next guest. Let's get to the end of the marathon. Getting. And so at the end of today, I get to listen to this awesome recording that Sam and I did. He gave me a meditation, performed it for me, and I just totally soaked it in. And I'm going to dive into this thing after. And I'm so excited for it, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The mind loves to seek outside itself for answers, but the real answers are just in here, and to realize that we have no place to go. I wish I could remember the story that Adyashanti shares. He's talking about, if you were a shoe, you walk around to go see other shoes to find out that you're a shoe. But that's the whole thing. We take this journey of seeking, and sometimes we need that to really discover that this isn't our path. What I discovered, is constantly my own self. I had a team of 6 doctors. It was their job to fix me and all this medicine. But then I realized in meditation that this is my responsibility. What's best for me? These doctors, they have their training, but they still treat everyone pretty much with a cookie cutter approach. Oh, you have multiple sclerosis. Here's the protocol. And what I remember from that, when I was in the hospital, unable to walk, is I would do 10 minutes of therapy. And they said, oh, you must be tired. Go lay down for an hour. That was their protocol, because it was a cookie cutter approach. They had documentation. This is what we do. And everybody gets trapped into this rigid regiment of this. These are the protocols. But No, you are a human. You have your own unique experiences from childhood to teenage years to early adult to this current adult. And when I tell people that don't understand that you're a perfect spirit, take photos of your life from like 5, 10, 15, 20, stretch them all out and say, okay, look at all these different bodies that I have. Where did I go? Where did I go? That's what I want people to realize, is that your perfect spirit will always be here. This body, this building, this computer, this microphone, they won't be here forever. They're impermanent. The only thing that's permanent is our perfect spirit. Whether we're in a body or not, this perfect spirit remains. And this is how like mediums talk to the dead, because the people that are dead are simply don't have their body anymore, but their perfect spirit is still intact, if you will. So that's how mediums talk to that perfect spirit that are not in body. It's kind of a different way to see it, but it's all perfect spirit, whether in body or not in body. So it's just a different way of seeing things, is to realize that I'm the spirit in this human body trying to do my very best. And actually, you're doing your very best. You're not trying, you are doing your best. And it's never good enough for this mind, because it says, I'm here, but it wants you to be this expert. And it loves to go back in hindsight and say, why'd you do that 3 years ago? You should have done it this way. Well, 3 years ago, this is where your skill set and your knowledge was. So you did your best at that time.
Yeah.
Now you learned and grow from that. And you can look back at that and say, okay, now I know how to move forward when that happens again. But the mind likes to look back and gets back into the place of regret, shame, because you look back at that and say, no, just realize you were doing your best in that moment, where you were in your mindset, what you were eating that day, where you were sleeping. All those things affect this. If you're tired or you're not getting enough sleep, not enough right foods, this is just going to be all over the place. So it's like an accumulation of effects where we are, and just the mind loves to look back and regrets and shames and would have, could have, should have. And it doesn't serve. It's just a story. Just realize I did my best in that moment.
Wow. So do you feel that meditation, getting rid of the head trash, is this like the one thing that would truly transform the entire planet if everyone like started doing it 5 minutes a day?
Yeah, because they would realize there would be no more competition, that everyone's a perfect spirit trying to do their best. And it would definitely change the whole society. We would need different programs, because there won't be a need for all the military complexes we have, all the violence, all the crime.
Consumerism.
Consumerism. It would just be a completely different society. You would just be living a minimalist life. You're like, I just need a car. I just need something to go back and forth. I don't need the BMW. I don't need the Porsche. I don't need the Maserati. I don't need that. I just need basic transportation.
I do appreciate us striving, though, for innovation, for excellence. There's something to say about excellence and being our best, and luxury, feeling good, using nicer, more comfortable materials. But I think that there's also a point of like, we're just trying to show off and be better than everyone else. So like, let's add more buttons. Let's add more, different bells and whistles, which ultimately isn't truly about innovation for the customer, for the client, but it's about like one-upping everyone else, which is what we're talking about right here. So I think that there's like really powerful distinction there between let's strive for greatness because that's who we are, that's what our perfect spirits desire, and then there's, ooh, what are they doing? How do we one up them? Ooh, how do we stay at the top of our market? How do we make more money? If that's the driving focus, if that's the conversation that's driving all the decisions, the CEOs, the management, the shareholders, then that's what will be produced in from top down mentality all the way to the bottom.
Right. So it's also about just seeing like better ways to grow food. There's a lot of innovation, better way to grow food, better way to take care of one another, better ways to improve the education system, better ways to improve the healthcare system. There's all these areas of innovation, but then you get into things that don't really innovate. They're more luxury type things that don't ultimately add benefit. But it's also about just realizing how can we take better care of one another. That's really where the innovation needs to come. Like, we need a better way to increase the threshold on food so we can feed more people. We can get more more from our crops without making these GMOs or whatever. It's just finding different ways without altering the genetic structures that affect the human body. Like, how can we do this? How can we travel to others, planets, solar systems? How can we innovate in that area? How can we expand the human race into just besides Earth? How can we just expand out? And there's all these types of innovation, like the space program. There's all sorts of things, like what Richard Branson is doing with his space travel and all that, so we can just expand those frontiers.
Yeah. Well, one thing I had with a past guest of the show, Brandon Taracco, amazing guy. If you guys don't know him, amazing dude. But we had like an hour and a half long interview because I went from the end from 7 p.m. or whatever to the end of the night. We went all the way through the celebration hour because we were just so deep in it. And one of the things that I created was my mission on Earth is to leave this planet so good, like have everyone around us enroll the entire human race into the vision that this planet is so good, so awesome, so much love, so much abundance, so much prosperity, so much peace, that we feel compelled and called that it's our moral obligation to go share this love that we experience with more places, more planets, more people, more creatures, more solar systems, more galaxies in the universe, because why not create more of this love and peace and harmony and joy? Like that should be our moral obligation, to keep rising, to keep evolving, to keep innovating, to create more of that.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just have that compassion for one another. Just really, how can we better support society? We shouldn't have like all this homeless that we have in this country. That can be eradicated. But we spend so much money on military and other things that just aren't needed. The only time we need military because it's one belief system against another belief system, and thinking our system is the absolute best way. And we don't need to be the bully of the world or whatever. We just don't need to be that state. We can have this compassion. Because we spend so much money on military, we're neglecting the education system. We're neglecting our infrastructure. That's where we really need to improve, is our infrastructure in the U.S. I mean, look at all the bridges that are old, all the sewer lines in the old cities are just in terrible condition because our priorities are not right. And that's what I'm really seeing. That's what's coming to me, is this mind has different priorities than this. If we really listen to what are the priorities here, then we'll succeed, we'll thrive. But this has wrong priorities. We know our mission, our unique mission, is right here. Like all the abundance that we want is right here. This has the keys right here in our heart for this infinite abundance. But this is getting in the way. And I see this in my own self, that this gets in the way. It's just that you just have to keep diving deeper and deeper and just unwinding these little stories that are up here.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible, man. Incredible. So we're beginning to wrap up, Sam, and we want to know what's the final takeaways that you want us to have from this interview, that you want people to be, do, and have. What actions, and how do you want them showing up in the world?
Well, if they need any help with the head trash, they want to know more about my story, they can go to headtrashanonymous.org and get a free copy of my book there, my first book. I'm writing the second one now, or actually my second full book of my own, The Head Trash Paradox. What voice do you believe, this voice or the inner voice here?
Awesome.
I talk about all those head trash games that the mind likes to play, that I'm too old, that I'm not worthy, that I don't have the skill sets, all these games the mind likes to play. And that's what I'm just seeing too, that I offer. I put in the comments too, where people that want to work with me, they can use the code PEACE, get a discount from all my services. And because I just really want to spread this into the world, that I try to keep everything, affordable for everyone, that I don't need all this fanciness. I just want people to be happy. Ultimately, I want them to see that the happiness is right here, that all the joy, their bliss, all their abundance is right here, that the diamond is in their pocket. They just have to discover it. Yeah. We're always looking outside ourselves, that, I need to go do this. I need to go do this. I need to go do this. People are buying all these courses and programs that are keeping them outside themselves instead of going within, like what's best for you. And what I'm seeing with like things like life coaching, it's helpful to a degree, but it's ultimately thought chasing thoughts. But it's really about getting to see like, well, what's that story? What makes that story true? Is that story serving you? So a life coach would be more better in that aspect, to say, these are their current stories. How can we unwind those current stories that are not serving them? Instead of like, here's how to improve your story. when you want to let go of the story and rewrite a new story. That's what we constantly need to rewrite a new story of you. Like, I never saw this new story myself. I was sick for 44 years. Who knew in 3 months I would write a completely different story on my life?
That's crazy, man. It's so awesome that you say that, because at the very end of this podcast, when this goes to iTunes, and in the outro, I say, this is your opportunity to rewrite your story right here, right now. What are you choosing? You know, because every time someone listens to an episode, an interview, whatever it might be, they have an opportunity to do something about it. And if this just went in one ear and out the other, then it didn't make the difference. So how do we make the difference is by, one, everyone listening, taking action, and two, being the example ourselves, being the leaders who take the actions and set the pace.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, is that taking that inspired action. And inspired comes from inspiration, which means sitting in spirit. So sitting with your perfect spirit and then taking action based on that information.
That's so crazy. I've never heard inspired in spirit. I've never heard that. I've never seen that before.
Actually, I think that came from Wayne Dyer. I think that's where I first heard it, from Wayne Dyer.
That's so cool.
That's the way I think of it. You know, and inspiration comes from, you know, inspiration means to sit with spirit. So when you're inspired, you're with spirit.
Yeah.
And everyone is a perfect spirit. So everyone that's listening, watching, realize you are a perfect spirit. You can rewrite your story. You don't have to keep living in this story. You can rewrite your story. But you have to be willing, determined to step back and say, is this my best course of action? And it's a practice to get out of the mind from reacting and responding, because that's the mind's default behavior, is reacting and responding. So once you're aware of that, you can step back, maybe by taking a deep breath, maybe by just, you know, it's like an argument with somebody, just walk away. Maybe just do one of those kind of things. If you like, I know what I remember is coming to me now. This funny story is when my father was around and his brother, their favorite hobby was arguing with one another. That was their favorite hobby. But if they would just like step away and not do that, it would probably been a healthier relationship. But I just see those two brothers always would arguing. It seemed like their favorite hobby, like, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. And it doesn't matter who's right, who's wrong. It really doesn't matter, because it's just this head trash, this noise up here. That's all it is. It's all about feeling good right now. If you're feeling good right now, you're living your purpose. If you're not feeling good right now, then you're misaligned in some way from this and this. There's a disconnect there, because the mind's telling you need to go do all these things, and your spirit's saying, no, just sit there and just listen to what's best for you, and take this step over here. Maybe go over here. Go talk to this person. Go listen to this show. Go read this. Go read that. And we'll just tell you this simple. That's what people will sometimes ask. How do you know the difference between intuition and mind? And the way I can explain it the best is, when I was on my healing journey, and my intuitive voice was coming, my intuition will say, just drink water. My mind would have said, you need to drink water because you need to be hydrated because of this benefit and this benefit and this benefit. It would come up with all these benefits of drinking water.
Selling ourselves.
Right, and intuition is just like, just drink water. There's no story attached with intuition. It's like, just go do this, go do that. It will make no logical sense up here. Like go to a store an hour away when there's 5 others closer. It will make no sense. You just trust it. Who knows what's going to happen when you get there?
Wow. Dude, it's amazing. Sam, you are the man. For everyone listening, take Sam up on his offer. Have one of these head trash clearing sessions. They are magical, amazing, highly recommended. And Sam, you can totally use it as a testimonial. You know, I'll write you one, whatever. Like, use anything from this video, please. You're amazing, dude. And I really value you and what you're out to accomplish in the world, all the people that you're impacting. And I'm excited to see your message and mission spread and get more of these centers, more of these places where people can go in for a tune-up to just get the power to let go, to clear out the head trash. And again, you've grown so much, man. I'm so excited to see you over the coming months and years. And I love you, brother. Keep up the great work.
Same with yourself, Chris. You're getting that word out there, that message out there. Rewrite your story. Yes. You know, for the end cap, just rewrite your story. And every moment you can rewrite your story. You're never too old. As long as you're alive, there's infinite possibilities. As long as you don't get trapped in this. You can write your story in every moment, every second. Your destiny is not fixed. It's changing in each decision we make.
Amazing, man. I see you on stage next to Deepak. Just saying. I see it. I see it. I feel it. It's true. It's already done. It's already done, man.
Yep. Good night.
All right,
Thanks for having me. Great talking to you.
You're welcome. You take care, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.